It's around 6:30 a.m. This is the beginning of my last day as a PACE suburban bus operator. Hello. I've been a bus operator for just short of 13 years. And today is the day that my career will be ending. My final day driving. So I was just going to take you through the day, some of the highlights, and how it feels to be wrapping up a career. Hopefully you can hear me okay. Normally my day starts getting up at 4:30 in the morning, working till about 8 o'clock at night. But on Saturdays, which is my final day, I get up at 6:30 and work till 8. Okay, my feelings about retirement. There's an anticipation about what comes next. In our case, we're planning on moving away. So these final days for us have been very, very hectic. Trying to get things packed and loaded and stored away. And it just goes on and on continuously to the point of exhaustion. So I haven't had a whole lot of time to think about these last days as a operator. So yeah, the anticipation of the future is one. It's kind of exciting. A few weeks ago when I first made this decision, there was, I don't know, I think there was a lot of sadness knowing all the things you were going to miss because we're moving away. So we're going to miss our church people and our dear friends, all my co-workers. So a lot of things you don't think about or take advantage of until they're about to be going away. Why do I have this reflection on my face? So, anyway, I guess, you know, for, I don't know, 1 or 2 weeks, there was, you know, like a cloud of darkness about this whole decision. Are you doing the right thing? Do you really want to end your career? You had such good grasp of what you do, and you're making pretty good money, and you're just going to kind of throw it all away and end up doing nothing for the time being. And if you're a person like me, you always want to be doing something to, I don't know, feel like you're, like you have a purpose, more or less. I know that sounds very worldly, but, you know, there is a human side of us too, besides our relationship with Christ. So hopefully after we move on, I'll find something that will be helpful to others, maybe minister to people, and get some fulfillment that way. Now, as far as the bus driving career, I don't think a lot of citizens understand what we go through as drivers. I mean, you can go from one extreme to the next as far as your as far as how you feel as you're driving. One moment you've got some guy, like just 2 days ago, I had a guy balling up his fist, ready to punch me out. Oh, he gets on the bus and he starts pulling all this junk out of a bag. He's got bottles of booze in there, and I knew right then and there this is going to be the start of a awful day. And I told him, I said, if you start acting up on my bus, I'm going to have to take you off. So that was first thing in the morning. So sometimes that's how a driver's day starts, and now you're all tensed up besides all the driving you have to do and have a bus full of people and be concerned about their safety and all the crazy nuts that drive and cut you off in traffic. And then the next person that gets on after that expects you to be this pleasant good morning person, and maybe you're a little bit gruff from that whole experience, and then they think you're a POS as a driver because you don't seem very friendly. And just the other side of the coin, which is me for the most part, I try to treat people really nice. I try to be friendly. I say good morning. I say thank you. A lot of times when it comes to like these college kids and high school kids, you don't get the slightest word back. You're welcome. Nothing like that. The way the world is as far as manners, I think manners have been thrown out the window for the most part, unfortunately. Then as you're driving, you get these people on their cell phones walking right across the crosswalk, nose in the phone. They don't even turn their head to see a bus is coming. We stop to pick up passengers. The cars will pass you and turn right in front of your buses. They'll pull out in front of you. It's just an amazing risk these people take. So anyway, a lot of times I'll get people that I'll feel bad for, and they don't have the money, or they've treated me nice so many years and maybe they forgot their money that day, and I'll just try to pay for them, just to try to stay out of an altercation, depending on what type of person they are, or I'll just try to be nice as a way of appreciating their kindness to me over the years, and I just, help them out. And that's another way that I try to minister on the bus. I just try to show the love of Christ as best I can to each person that gets on, whether they're homeless or, whatever their case may be. Over the years, I've had many people who have been addicted to either drugs or alcohol, who rode regularly, and actually saw many of them pass away because of their addictions. And all during that time they were addicted, I tried sharing Jesus with them. I would ask them for their phone, and I would put the Bible app on their phone and tell them they really need to get into God's Word and get a relationship with Him. So that's, it's almost like this family with the drivers and your passengers that you get to know. So when one expires, it's like a piece of that puzzle that gets taken away that you'll never see again. They all had their role to play to make the job, just to make the job more enjoyable, I guess I would say. There's different passengers you see every day, you get used to, you start to talk to them and laugh with them, and it's just a whole different way of working compared to the jobs I've had in the past. All the drivers are like one big family. I love every one of them, and I will miss them dearly. I mean, we have black, white, Spanish, Indian, you name it, and every person gets along so well. Race never is an issue. I mean, it's the most loving job I've ever had as far as how employees feel about each other. I get hugs all the time from all the different people. There is just no racial barrier at all when working with fellow bus drivers at our location anyway. So I'm going to wrap this little introduction up, and I'll get back to you when I get on my bus. I'm heading to the garage right now. I got a 7:25 start time. And then we'll talk more about things that are going on this last day of my career. See you in a bit. So here I am approaching the place that I have spent almost 13 years working. It's funny, the way this all came about is I had a career with the municipality for 25 years, and they decided to contract out my position, so I was without a job in my mid-50s. And I thought I was going to retire, but I couldn't stand sitting around for the first month. Went out and started looking for work, and I thought it would be cool to maybe be some kind of a driver or something. I found bus operator positions for a school district, so I applied for that. They started training me for like 2 weeks, I think. And next thing you know, another bus position that I had applied for was one of Pace's contractors, because they contract some of their services out too, to do some of the optional runs that are available. And there. So I ended up having a starting date for them, and now I had the school district and the other contracted position ready to go. And then the third one opened up, and that was Pace Suburban Bus Company, where I'm at right now. And because I had all three going at the same time, I said, Lord, I don't know what to do. Would you just show me the way and make the choice for me? I ended up taking this one. And I guess it was a good thing, because when COVID hit, those contracted Pace bus services ended up coming to a halt. The school district one, I don't really know what happened. I know that when school districts hire companies, they contract certain companies, and then if that doesn't work out, they'll contract a different one. And so this has been a really good, secure job, good insurance. It's worked out really well. I'm about to go inside to get my start going. You got to be on time, or else you get a miss out, and then they send you home for the day. And if you get so many miss outs in a year, you end up losing your job. So I'll video what I can, but because of security, I can't do everything. See you in a bit. Kind of funny, but every morning I get 2 paper towels. I put them in my back pocket. And you wouldn't believe how many times these things have come in handy. Even at Starbucks, when the girls have a mishap and spill their coffee, I'm there to clean it up. Okay, I've been assigned my bus for today. So you have to do a brake test in the morning. Buses sit overnight in the garage, and they get so hot. You start sweating first thing in the morning when it's 90 degrees outside. pre-trip real quick. Check the hatch. Make sure passenger chimes are working. Make sure all the windows are closed. Look for any objects. Check the fire extinguisher. Take a quick walk around. Check the bike rack, windshield wipers. My bus for today. Be back a little bit later. So when we get our buses, we have to do a sign-in. Then we put in our run number. Keypads are stubborn sometimes and they don't want to listen to what you tell them. And we do pre-trip like I had already showed you part of. I have a checklist to show exactly what we found on the bus, whether it's scratched or chipped, something mechanical. We do that every morning. I'm going to pull the bus up a little bit to do a ramp check. We have to do that every morning too. Off to our final morning pullout. Back in a little while. Okay, I caught a stoplight, so I'll tell you what's going on here real quick. We have different types of runs, and I'm on a deadhead right now from North Aurora to Naperville, Illinois. You're basically just moving the bus from one place to another to start your trip in a different location. So the bus is empty, and these trips are very enjoyable. Not having to worry about passengers. See you later. Okay, we have arrived at the Naperville Metro, which to begin the regular part of our route today. We'll be going from Naperville up to Yorktown Mall area. Now, the type of trip I do every Saturday is what they call a split. And what you do is you run the first half of your route, then you get anywhere from a 2 to 4.5 hour break in the middle, and then you come back later and finish up the rest of your route. A lot of the drivers do not like those. They would rather just start early, get a half-hour break, and go home. But I like them because it gives me a chance to get off of the bus, go to Starbucks or somewhere else and grab a coffee, sit down and relax, get something to eat. It's a good way to regroup yourself if you've had trouble making passenger or something like that, just to sit down and settle down and get ready for the second part. Makes the day real long, but I guess everybody has different preferences when it comes to that. So, as you can probably tell, I can't really film or video while I'm driving the bus. That's not legal, so I will try to avoid that as much as possible. So I'll show you a little bit of stuff later. Talk about my last day of work a little bit more. So that's it for now, and I'll catch you in a little while. Okay, I just got to the Yorktown Mall area from Naperville. Sit here for about 10 minutes and then carry on. Just wanted to share a few more thoughts while I'm sitting here. There's a song by Chris Machen. It's called Bow the Knee. Part of it goes like this. And when you don't understand the purpose of his plan, in the presence of your king, bow the knee. Yeah, that song has ministered to me through this situation. There's been times of tears and really hard crying at times, calling out to God and saying, am I doing the right thing? Am I doing one of the craziest things I've ever done in my life? Why am I dropping a bomb in the middle of my life at 69 years old, throwing away a good career, insurance, etc.? But sometimes we have to make tough choices and trust God, and that's what I'm doing in this situation. My wife has wanted to move to another state for many years, and I just think it's about time that she gets something that she desires after she's been so good to me all the years, and what I desire. It's not that I don't want to do this, it's just that at 69 years old, I don't know what's going to happen in the next step of life, and it gets a little bit scary. From going to having a check coming in regularly to not having anything as far as employment. So what things have I liked most about this? Sorry about that. What have I liked most about driving bus? Well, first of all, I would say the camaraderie amongst the drivers. And we come in on our breaks in early morning and we laugh and have all these amazing stories about what happened on the bus each day. Whether you did something stupid or a passenger got riled up or cars did something that just about caused you to have a major accident. So there's some very strong friendships that are built amongst your co-workers when you work for the PACE bus service like I have. Worst things that could happen? Well, there have been instances of violence throughout the country, from bus drivers being stabbed, spit on, having urine thrown on them, physically assaulted. It's all things that are in the back of your mind all the time when you drive. I was physically assaulted by a passenger once in my 13 years here. And back then, we were not allowed to do anything except take whatever they gave to us and then report it and let the police handle it. They've went from that to going to the point of saying you can defend yourself. So I guess that was a good thing. I hope I never have to do something like that all those years. Now I don't have to worry about that so much unless something happens today. But anyway, you know, as a bus driver, you see certain people get on the bus and you try to profile them as best you can, even though you never know who's going to do what. Sometimes you just sit there and you wonder if someone's going to shank you while you're sitting there with your back towards them and they're the only other one on the bus. And I only say that because it does happen. So you always have to have an awareness about what's going on around you besides the safety of driving, the safety of all the other passengers. And I do get belligerent passengers who decide to want to be the star of the show while you have a bus full of people. And then you have to try to handle that without embarrassing yourself in front of all the others and be respectful of them getting to their stops on time. So there's a lot more involved than what people realize. I've seen some of these bus drivers that react so quickly and they escalate situations, and that's really the stupid way to act. You have to figure out how to calm the situation the best you can to avoid any kind of escalation of an incident. That's why I'm always ready with my debit card instead of fighting with somebody about paying their fare. I don't do this all the time, depending on what kind of reaction I get. But I'll just pay for their fare and avoid all that extracurricular stuff that could happen. So I think that about covers what I had to say at this point. Referring back to that song that I sang a little piece of, sometimes you just have to bow the knee and just trust God for what His plan is and rest in that. And that's pretty much what I'm doing so far. What we've seen since I've made this decision is that God has been there providing a place for us to where we're going while our house is being completed. And we just kept on trusting Him, even though it was getting down to the nitty-gritty. We didn't have much time. We're going to be closing in just over a week on our house, and it seems like things are just breaking through here at the last minute, according to His plan. So that's all I got for now. I'll catch up with you a little later. One of the big things I forgot to mention is the aches and pains that you encounter every day after a long day of driving. I don't know if it's my age catching up with me or what, but my back hurts, my knee hurts. I feel tired all the time, fighting sleep deprivation, because when you have an early wake-up time like 4:30 in the morning and you're not used to going to bed very early, it catches up with you very fast. I also have problems with my hands being on the steering wheel, the pressure sores that you get on your hands, a lot of things that you really take for granted. I guess when you're younger, you probably tolerate that stuff a lot better. But when you get up in years like I'm starting to get, then aches and pains just compound and they never go away until you give them lots of rest. So I'll catch you a little later. So I'm 2 hours into the second half of my day. 3 hours to go until I am done with my career. So after the first part of my run, I was able to see a lot of my co-workers, say my final goodbyes. My heart's just a little bit heavy, but I'm doing all right. Just keep looking forward to what lies ahead. Be thankful for the relationships I had with people here. It's kind of a funny career because a lot of times you won't see your co-workers for months and months because your trips never cross paths with each other. So unfortunately, I don't get to see everybody to say farewell, but I'll probably just write a little note when I go in the final time. So this route goes just back and forth to the Fox Valley Mall in Aurora. It's just a short run that takes about an hour round trip. So I do 4.5 round trips for my afternoon portion of a Saturday. So I'll get back to you shortly if there's any more to say. Thanks for bearing with me. We're back again. I have about 1 hour and 20 minutes left in my day until I say my final adios to my job. You think about so many things when you're on your last day before you retire. Things that happened in the past on the bus and all the good memories. I remember my safety manager telling me that when you become a bus driver, it's like you're the captain of your ship. And he was so right. You have control over all these grown-ups that act like children at times, and any kind of situation that arises, it's all up to you to figure out and solve it. It's kind of funny how you work every day and it seems like every day just drags on and you never think it's going to end. And And then just under 13 years later, it's like, where did the time go? It went by so fast. It's kind of ironic how that works. But I don't know, I guess we all end up missing our job at some point, I suppose, if you enjoyed it even in the least bit. So, it's just kind of a strange feeling to be just letting it go, and the whole wondering about what happens next. But I don't know, without being a born-again Christian and knowing that God has you every step of your life, I don't know how people get by without having that as part of their life. So I'll join you up when I finish my final run and have a few closing thoughts. Thanks for sticking with me. We're saying goodbye to Fox Valley Mall for the last time. We're about to wrap it up here, folks. Our last journey to the garage. But that's for the last time. That's it. The end of a day, the end of a career as a bus operator. To all my Pace family, love all you guys. As the Bible says, do everything as unto the Lord. Bus operator 5190. Signing off. Thanks for watching.